तो वेलकम बैक टू आवर चैनल एजुकेशन एंड मोटिवेशन। मेरा नाम दिलीप है, मैं IISc से PhD कर रहा हूँ और आज जो हमारे गेस्ट हैं वो लचित भैया हैं। ठीक है, वो अभी उन्होंने यहाँ से डॉक्टरेट अपनी की है IISc से, वो PhD ऑलरेडी यहाँ से कर चुके हैं और वो अभी जो है डिब्रूगढ़ यूनिवर्सिटी में एक कॉलेज है, डिब्रू कॉलेज, वहाँ पे वो असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर हैं। मैंने डिटेल्ड उनका जो इंट्रोडक्शन है वो अपने पहले वाले वीडियो में दिया है, आप वहां जाके देख सकते हो और अगर आपने वो वीडियो देखा है तो आपको पता होगा। तो आज लचित भी आपको अच्छे से बताने वाले हैं कि जो IISc की जो PhD लाइफ है, या हम कॉमन एक PhD लाइफ की भी बात करें तो वो किस तरह की होती है। PhD में आपके कैसे उतार चढ़ाव आते हैं। जैसे लोग बात सोचते हैं कि मैं PhD में एडमिशन लूंगा, एक स्ट्रेट लाइन की तरह वो चली जाएगी, तो ऐसा तो होता नहीं है। ठीक है, तो वो आपको बताएंगे कि कैसे कैसी कठिनाइयां PhD लाइफ में आती हैं, कैसे आपको उनको हैंडल करना होता है, किस तरह से आपकी 5 साल की PhD प्रोसीड करती है। अगर गलती से आपकी PhD एक्सटेंड भी हो रही है तो उसमें कहाँ आपकी कमियां रही होंगी या इंस्टीट्यूट की कमियां रही होंगी, और अगर कुछ ऐसा होता है तो आपको उसको कैसे हैंडल करना है। तो अच्छे से आज आप PhD लाइफ के बारे में जानने वाले हो। तो मैं आपको बता दूं कि जो हमारे लचित भैया हैं उन्होंने काफी सारे इंटरव्यूज दिए हुए थे अपने टाइम पे, जब उन्होंने PhD में एडमिशन लिया था। IITs के इंटरव्यू भी दिए थे, रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट्स के इंटरव्यू भी दिए थे, इवन उन्होंने बार्क का इंटरव्यू भी दिया था, वो सभी जगह ऑलमोस्ट सेलेक्ट भी हुए थे। लेकिन फिर भी उन्होंने जो है अपने PhD के लिए जो है उन्होंने इसको चुना, IISc को चुना, IISc बेंगलोर को चुना। अब सबसे पहले तो मेरा उनसे क्वेश्चन यही रहेगा कि जब आप सभी जगह सेलेक्ट हुए थे तो आपने IISc बेंगलोर क्यों क्यों चुना, क्योंकि आप अच्छे अच्छे और भी रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट में सेलेक्ट हुए थे, तो आपने IISc बेंगलोर को चुनने का कोई आपका मेन मोटिव, कोई मेन रीजन, या उस टाइम की आपकी कोई थिंकिंग जो आप सोचते हो कि हाँ मुझे IISc बेंगलोर चुनना चाहिए था, और अभी आप क्या सोचते हो कि आपने जो किया वो सही था? क्या आप किसी और इंस्टीट्यूट से करते तो भी सेम ही चीज होती, कैसा, मतलब आप उसके बारे में क्या ओवरव्यू क्या है आप?
So I would like to answer this question just going back a little bit in time before the PhD. What happened? So after MSc, what happened? So my life scenario was such a way that somehow I want to continue my studies, and also I want to get some financial stability to myself and my family. So that was my main. So I did not do PhD by I wanted to do a PhD. I didn't go by that rule because situation was not like that. Even though only thing that I was clear in my mind that whatever I do or I decided to do, I will do it sincerely. So that was only my sort of day-to-day mindset. Whatever I do, I will do it sincerely, and I will do at my best, whatever I can do. So that was my thought process. Then as I had gone to interviews, and I also never thought I would clear these interviews. And prior to that, because I studied BSc from Bangalore, meaning the Swiss Institute of Higher Learning, the Bangalore campus. So I had a few occasions to visit IISc. And one of my cousin who hails from my native place, who was doing PhD at that point of time, 2009, during that time. So, and somehow then not very frequent, 2 or 3 times I had come to IISc, and I liked that thing, the entire environment. So, and also I was a little bit familiar to Bangalore. So, and also that thought, something inside came in me somehow, I think I should do something in IISc. So that was like a normal thought. Anyone that would enter the institute would think that, oh, such a good institute, probably I should also study here, like that. So one night, what happened? So I used to maintain a diary. I used to write some important points sometime, not every day. So at the first page of the diary, there I had written, one day I'll study in IISc. I think I'll crack IISc entrance and I'll study in IISc. Somewhat like that, I have written it down. That too, it was with pencil, not with a pen. The motive behind pencil is that if I fail in that, I will rub it off. So that was, but it was in 2009. So that's one thing which kept me, on the road, saying that if you get opportunity to do something in IISc, please have do it, that kind of thing. So after going through all the interviews, actually one point, so I had a critical junction at point of time. IIT Bombay had declared the results. They asked me to pay the fees and take the admission. And by that time, IISc admission, IISc interview was not conducted. So then I was in a dilemma whether to give away that, and then the remaining BARC and IISc Pune, the interviews, the results were not declared. So I was not sure whether I will get it or not. Even though I know I have done relatively well, because see, I know only my interview. I don't know what other people have done. So probably it's always relative. So I was not very confident that I will get it. So then my brother at the point of Dr. Robert Sunwal, who did PhD from IISc and currently in Atlanta, is doing postdoc. So somehow he said me these words, hey, you are not so bad that you will not get in some other institute. You, IIT Bombay, it's okay. If you think that you can give away that to someone else, you take a risk. Then he also said that what is the fun in life if you don't take a risk? I don't know why he said that. And that's like, it's a life decision, right? So then I also thought, okay, maybe we'll see what will happen. It was my thought process was that we'll see what. So in that, with that thought in my mind, I went to IISc interview. And then after getting, then in the, what happened at that point of time, another thing I realized is because I cleared, like in so many institutes, some of the professors, they call me to, especially in JNC and IISc Pune also, I have seen 1 or 2 labs. So you can visit their labs during the interviews if you are interested. So in fact, in JNC, they were like, they had showed me their lab, what all work on they do, even though it was like very, very alien for me because I just did masters that point of time. And they were like, I wouldn't say like they were constantly in touch with me that if you get a chance, please apply here, like that. So and then that gave me confidence. Oh, maybe at least someone will take me. It was like that. So and I had in my mind only 2 choices: either go to BARC or IISc. IISc because one of the things is for research, it's number 1 institute in India. So it's like you can, along with the research, you get a brand value for that. And so going by, and that to IISc was a little bit familiar for me. And I'm somewhat, along with my studies, I was very fond of playing cricket. So seeing all the facilities in IISc playground, and somehow, I don't know, I'm like a very small child. I was very attracted towards those things. So, but I critically analyzed, so as I said, BARC. So BARC, I did not get what I wanted to do, even though I was selected in the merit list. And then the next option was IISc. So that's why I chose IISc. So it was very unfortunate, or like many other students would do, that they would go through many other profiles of the professors for IISc. I had gone through a little bit, but not so detailed that I was not clear in my mind what I will be doing in my PhD in IISc. So going by the brand values and then all the circumstances that at that point of time was there, my brother was also one of the big factor, because somehow that thought was there in my mind. And then another, the negative point which we typically hear in IISc, meaning that other people say that in my college, in my MSc days also, the faculties, but other people are saying that don't go to IISc for PhD, it takes so many years in there. But somehow the confidence inside me always says, see, you do it, you see it, then you believe it. That's what just because somebody had completed PhD in 11 years or 10 years or 5 years, 2 years, whatever time, I'm not going by that rule. Because life, for the life path that you take is not safe for everyone. And believe it or not, I had completed it in my PhD in 5 years. That too, as I will say, there are a lot of story behind in my PhD.
अच्छा लक्षित भैया, ये बताइए कि जैसे आपने जब आईआईएससी में पीएचडी में एडमिशन लिया, तो आईआईएससी की जो पीएचडी है वो किस हिसाब से प्रोसीड होती है? मतलब थोड़ा ओवरव्यू की यहाँ के जो स्टेप्स हैं, 4 या 5 जो स्टेप्स हैं कि आप आते हो, आपको कोर्स करना है, इतने क्रेडिट्स आपको कंप्लीट करने होंगे, उसके बाद मिनिमम सीजीपीए आपकी ये रहेगी, कॉम्प्री होगा, कॉम्प्री के बाद आपका जो है जो अगले 2 या 3 साल हम में आपको अपना रिसर्च करना है, रिसर्च के बाद आपका जो कोलोकियम होगा, डिफेंस होगा। तो थोड़ा ब्रीफ में आप थोड़ा बता दीजिए कि जो आईएससी का जो पीएचडी का जो प्रोसेस है, एकेडमिक प्रोसेस जो है वो थोड़ा ऐसा है, उसके बाद हम अच्छे से डिटेल में अच्छे से बात करेंगे।
Yeah. So see, it's very specific to department by department, because in the, I would say the IISc physics, what the entire procedure, the steps that are that happened in physics department of IISc may not be similar in nanoscience or in biological sciences. So I can only say what goes on in physics department IISc at that point of time. See, these are rules can keep changing over time. So in my time, it was like, so first, once you get selected, then there'll be orientation program where all the new students will be called, and the chairman will speak, and then all the professors or the faculties who would like to take the students for PhD, they would give a talk of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending upon their comfortable zone. Sometimes if the faculty is not available, or is then one of the senior students from that lab would come and give a talk. It's basically students are being familiar, they are made familiar with the research that goes on in their lab. So that's thing. The first thing is an orientation program. Then they would give some time, 1 or 2 days, or maybe 5 days, 1 week. I don't know. In my time, I think it was around 1 or 2 days. So you would go around the faculty members that had given talk. So you would go and talk to them personally. If you're interested, especially you need to give a preference, meaning where you can, I think, give 2 or 3. I don't remember exactly. I think in my case, it was, I think it's a minimum you have to give 2, and the maximum there are 3 or 4. It was like that. So where all you can do research. So you go and talk to them. They will show you. They will talk to you some questions, and then and also you can discuss what work they do. You can see their lab depending on it. So it's like, I remember Professor Krishnamurthy was HRK in IISc physics, it's called as. So he used to say this, it's an academic marriage, meaning between the student and the faculty. Still I remember he had said this phrase. So you go and meet, and then if you like that work, if the professor is also interested in you to take as a PhD student, then you can join. That's what happens in initial step. So once you join, if you're joining for direct PhD, which I did, like regular PhD. So there are 2 modes, right? One is integrated PhD, where you do your master's and then you automatically sort of keep on going for your PhD. And I was a regular PhD student. So then first year you need to complete your coursework. I think that's 12 credit or so you need to complete within 1 year. Then next year you are expected to do a research, like you have to start your projects, whatever you want to do. And then after 2 years you need to sit for a comprehensive exam, where you will be asked on your coursework that you have done, and also your presentation. Typically they ask you for a presentation, whatever you have done in your 1 year. See, it's not necessary that you only do the coursework in the first year itself. You can also keep visiting the lab, and you can start if you're capable enough. You can start, because I say my scenario was completely different. That happens once in a lifetime of a lab, because I was the first student of my lab. Of my professor was Professor Prerna Sharma. She was also newly appointed at that point of time. So it's like me and my guide, my professor, was both were new to the institute. So we had started the lab from the scratch. So that's why in my case, I didn't have anyone except my guide. I didn't have anyone to ask for. In fact, the first day when I met her, and it was like she showed the lab, and the lab was just empty hall. And the current state of the lab is somewhat, if I myself think that like many things have happened over so many years. In fact, when I left after that, also many new things have arrived, I think, and it's going pretty well. So my case was completely because see, it's what it happens once in a lifetime of a lab. So I was also the only student at that point of time, at least for 1.5 years or around that. I was only the student at that point of time. So in fact, so there it had come a lot of problems. So many were asking me, why did you choose this lab, that lab? There is no background of, yeah, you know that the professor has done pretty well in her career. But what, see, I took all this as a challenge. I mean, somehow I feel like, okay, because at my beginning of this video, I had said that I told myself, whatever I do, I'll do my best and I'll sincerely. So that's what I thought. I never look back. I never regretted, and I always try to think that I wouldn't do something in my life that I have to regret. Even if I regret, I will consider that what positive I can take out of that. So in fact, that kept me on the go. Meaning it motivated me. See, there is no one in the lab to help me. So you need to be self-sufficient in the way that and many of the credit has to go to my guide who she had trained me really well in many of the cases, and that I could make myself a better person in many cases, and also skillful in trying to do my research. And my field was also completely different. It was new to me, soft matter physics, and that too I used some biological sample like viruses. So it was completely new, but still I felt it's okay. I will go with it. Meaning I don't want to go like in a road probably, because life is giving me opportunity to explore something new which I have never thought of. In fact, I never thought of in my life that I would some point of time I would do a PhD. So one of the most, I would say, intense and tense both the period for PhD student in IISc, especially for any other department. It's not only for the physics, it's a comprehensive exam. Meaning there is almost what you do in your initial entry interview time, but there you are, as I said, since I am as a student, I have an option that I can fail. It's okay. I will not get into this institute. But now in comprehensive exam, you are familiar with almost everyone in the panel. And there will be one or two will be external. But see, there is a pressure of your performance, so you need to perform well. See, there are many other professors who would say, see, you are a student who country's #1 institute. How can you be so dull or so not so aware of these things or not know this topic, this, that? So that's why I will talk about it in comprehensive exam, also in detail probably. Then after comprehensive exam, then you in physics department it happens. Then you start working on your projects that you have, and then you publish your work, and then eventually, if your whatever research you do is good enough, sufficient enough, then you can write your thesis. You can consult with your guide. So see, what I always feel that the communication between the student and the guide has to be very strong, and it has to be very clear what we are as a together. I always feel alone you cannot do, because as a student you are not experienced enough, and you are likely to face a lot of problem, and then that will lead into depression. And that's where I feel always the guide's picture coming to help, where she or he can interfere and make things pretty normal, because she's experienced. So she or he is very experienced in this kind of field. And then later on, you write a thesis. And I was lucky enough that, the thesis reviews that I have got is really one of the comments that I like from the foreign reviewer about my thesis, that she had said that, so I had 3 major chapters in my thesis. So I don't know, it's out of her generosity or humbleness, she had said to me, or she really liked my thesis, she said that there was one project was good enough to get a PhD. So in fact, Lachit has done much more than that. So that's like, I'll always revere that. It's very close to my heart, those, because see what you do entire 5 years or 4 years, and then someone praises your work, praises your hard work, because during PhD, what happens, some point of time, that there'll be time, nothing will happen in your life. You go to lab, keep doing, failing. Only you can do fail. Only keep doing the same thing, you fail. then you're probably, then you look for quotation, these, that quotation in the sense that, you know, quotes that Abdul Kalam had, Professor Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam had said, right? That fail is what? First attempt in learning, right? So that's what I like. You know, you fail, keep failing. One day, someday, some light will come into your life. Yeah, so I always feel that I was very lucky to do a PhD in the lab under Professor Prerna Sharma, because I feel, you know, whatever I have done in my PhD is like, and the situation was like that, that I could discover something that I was looking at in my system that I was working on. Because sometimes, because these are my inner feelings, how much ever hard work you do, whatever, how much ever talent you have, unless and until nature makes you feel that you are eligible enough to see that or discover that, I don't think so that would see, I'm not trying to be philosophical, because that's what I have realized during my PhD days. Otherwise, you know, sometimes you just go and do something, it will happen very quickly, whatever you want to, your experiment. Sometimes you prepare entire thing, you keep trying for that. The only thing I used to learn that what mistake I am doing. That's what I used to learn. It's like Thomas Alva Edison, they said that they took like 1,000 times to make a bulb. So if he failed like 999 times, but still he learned that many ways not to make a bulb. So I was also in the same boat, meaning thinking that, okay, this is not working, let's try something else. So yeah, and then you write a thesis, give a colloquium, and then after you need to submit the thesis. Nowadays it has become online, so it's much better. You submit, then they send it for review, then review report comes, then you again give the defense. So my defense was again online, even though I was offline in the IISc, and then my examiner was from IISc Pune, and he was in there in IISc Pune. So we were through Skype. I had done my defense. So yeah, after that, even though it looks like pretty simple and very, as Dilip had said, it's a straight line. It's not a straight line. There's a lot of curves. But I think next question I will answer a few things.
अच्छा लसित भैया ये बताइए, जैसे अभी आपने इन शॉर्ट में बता दिया है, लोगों को लग रहा होगा कि काफी अच्छा होता है, पीएचडी जाओ आराम से कंप्लीट हो जाएगी, जैसे अपनी एमएससी हुई, पीएससी हुई, लेकिन वैसा तो नहीं है। उनको आगे धीरे धीरे पता चल ही जाएगा, अगर वो लास्ट तक अपने वीडियो को देखते हैं तो। अगर रियली उनको कुछ सीखना है तो वो लास्ट तक देखेंगे भी। तो अभी मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहता हूँ, जो एक कॉमन क्वेश्चन है, मतलब टेक्निकल क्वेश्चंस पे हम बाद में भी आ जाएंगे, एक कॉमन क्वेश्चन है जो बहुत सारे बच्चे मतलब जो फेस करते हैं। कई बार क्या होता है कि बच्चे की गाइड से बन नहीं पाती है, या तो ये हो जाता है कि वो फील्ड जो उसको, जिसमें उसको काम करना था, वो फील्ड उसको नहीं मिल पाता है, या फिर जो आपका जो गाइड है, ठीक है, उसके बारे में वो कहीं कहीं से ये सुन लेते हैं उस इंस्टीट्यूट से या कहीं बाहर से, या कोई कुछ फेलियर्स लोग होते हैं जो हमेशा, कुछ होते हैं, कुछ लोग फेलियर होते हैं, वो हमेशा हर किसी के बारे में बुरा ही बोलेंगे, ठीक है, क्योंकि वो खुद फेल हुए थे तो हर किसी के बारे में बुरा ही बोलेंगे। तो आपके गाइड के बारे में आप ऐसा कुछ सुन लेते हो कि इसको कुछ नहीं आता है, इसको कोई नॉलेज नहीं है, इसको कुछ रिसर्च का कुछ पता नहीं है, ऐसा कुछ। तो कुछ लोगों की अपने गाइड्स के साथ बन नहीं पाती है, ठीक है, या फिर तो आप क्या सोचते हो कि अगर आपने एक बार पीएचडी में एडमिशन ले लिया है, ठीक है, व्हाट एवर गाइड जो आपको मिला, तो अभी आपको उस चीज को कैसे प्रोसीड करना चाहिए? क्योंकि कुछ लोग हमेशा 5 साल यही दिमाग में लेके बैठे रहते हैं कि यार मेरा गाइड सही नहीं है, या फिर मुझे मेरा फील्ड नहीं मिला, या फिर इस गाइड को कुछ आता नहीं है, इसको कोई नॉलेज नहीं है। क्योंकि मेरा तो ऐसा मानना है कि अगर वो फैकल्टी आपके इंस्टीट्यूट में रिक्रूट हुआ है तो उसको नॉलेज तो बहुत ज्यादा है, क्योंकि एक आईएससी में हो, चाहे आईआईटी में हो, चाहे एनआईटी में हो, चाहे सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी में हो, एक फैकल्टी रिक्रूटमेंट का एक पूरा लंबा एक प्रोसेस होता है, एक क्राइटेरिया होता है। तो आप ये नहीं कह सकते हो कि उसको कुछ नहीं आता है, ठीक है। तो आप मतलब कैसे उन लोगों की साइकोलॉजी को अभी थोड़ा चेंज करना चाहोगे, कैसे बोलना चाहोगे कि आप थोड़े पॉजिटिव रहे उस टाइम पे? क्योंकि लोगों का साइकोलॉजिकल चीजें चेंज हो जाती हैं, उनकी पीएचडी पे मुझे लगता है कि उसका बहुत ज्यादा इफेक्ट पड़ता है, और उनकी पीएचडी लास्ट में एक अच्छी पीएचडी निकल करके नहीं आ पाती है। आप उस बारे में कैसे लोगों को थोड़ा मोटिवेट करना चाहो?
Yeah, so this is very common, I guess, in many of the things, meaning many of the people complain. I know it's a very unfortunate situation where students face. It's in many cases, see, I cannot blame the student all the time, and also I cannot blame the faculty members all the time. It's a very individual case, and then the one person who is good with you may not be good with everyone.
Yes,
So it's a very personal thing. It's a, and somehow only that person who is involved in that interaction and that communication are the best person to judge. I am no one to judge. But what I would do if situation like that, and which I have followed in my many of the cases in my life, I want to become better version of myself in that particular situation, such that in fact for my job also I was thinking in the race, if I am eligible for the job, I will become, meaning it's somehow that thoughts come into my see in the age of competition in all areas. See, it's not necessarily you're very good at research now. You need to be very good at communicating your science that you do. You need to be able to speak well. You need to communicate well. You need to present well. You need to make contacts well, and you should know how to maintain that contacts with other people, seniors, juniors, students, your colleagues. Many other things come into play. So what I would do in that kind of situation, can I make myself better version of the previous thing? So one day will come that if he or she or someone has to lose me in some case, she should have the fear that I am losing something in my life. Meaning I have to make myself so valuable for others that, if you lose me, you are losing. I'm not losing. In fact, it could be something egoistic feeling, but I'm not telling in my thing. See, I have prepared myself in such a way that, suppose, because it happened to me many times in during my college days also. So because I used to play cricket, and I by default I would get selected, but then it happens sometime because of some politics, this that I'll be get out of the, somehow my name will be not there. Then some coach has to come and someone has to come, why he's not there. So then I realized, see, I cannot go into keep making things all right by myself. If I can make valuable, like so much so valuable for the team that they cannot drop me. Okay, if they drop me, they are losing, not I'm not losing. See, I'm just keeping myself so positive that I will do my best. See, I'm not saying that giving me a chance, I will do this. No, I'm not saying that. I'm very politely, I'm saying that I will make myself better. If you lose me, you are at loss. Of course, it will hurt me. I know that. But probably something inside will tell me, see, you will get a better option in your life. See, see, there's a lot of things. It's not only about you during the PhD, you need a financial help. You cannot keep getting money from your home, your parents. If your parents are well earning, then it's okay. But for middle class family like us, for me, it was pretty tough. Meaning, it was very difficult for me. I cannot do that. So one, the financial status, stability that you need. Then second is psychological. Your day-to-day, that scenario will kill you. Like every day you go and you don't want to see that person, but you go and meet that person every day. And then you know that knowingly or unknowingly or unfortunately, they are doing this thing with you. So only in this kind of situation where things are not going so well, only I would say that I would focus on myself, and I would make myself better version of me, and such that make them feel, and then you should express. See, psychological depression that you get, the mental now it has become so much problem in student life, that the stress that you get mentally. So you should communicate, you should speak to other people. See, all are human being, and we should have that human feeling. So just because somebody is PhD student or a PhD guy, I know we are bound academically and many others bound, but I think as a human being also we are in the age where everybody is adult. So I think there has to be a free communication between a guy. And if the situation is worse, you cannot communicate, then you take a stand. Either way, I would always say that, because I took my stand many of the cases like that in my life. Not during my PhD. I'm just saying in a life what I would do next. That's why I always felt that whatever I will do with sincerity, and then all and the best that I can do, but I will never regret in my life. So that's what I have followed in my life. And then that kind of situation also can be handled in the, you express. See, you should not express whatever you feel like express, and you should know what is your mental status and how is it. You should discuss with your colleagues, your friends, these are, and then never take a decision when you are too happy or too sad. So your mental stability has to be there. So I think the best thing is that we can do our best, meaning we can work. Suppose I'm doing some experiment and somebody is not happy with that. Let's say my guide is not happy. So I'm trying my best. I know there are many situations. You see, we need help, we need support at the situation when we are failing. See, if everything is going on well, we as a student, we don't need any help. I mean, we can handle our own situation. But that point of time, I think the guide situation comes into play. I mean, his or her intervention at that point of time is very critical. What suggestion you get, and also don't expect that whatever your professor comes and says this will work, do it. No. So research is something, exploring something new. So and also it has to be enjoyable. Whatever you do, even if you fail, okay, fail with smile. I mean, it's okay, you have failed. That anyway has to happen, right? So then you keep going. And somehow we have to make it very positive environment in the entire lab. And then that has to be meaning somehow, I don't know, see, every individual is different. So you have to maintain that. And I was very lucky in that case, because first thing, I was the only student in the initial case, whoever came. So only my goal was to create that environment that even though I could be senior till like life of that lab, but with freedom that I do the work, the same freedom any junior or whoever comes to the lab should be able to do it. Either way, meaning whether when you do any work for asking for some material in the lab, whatever has to be done in the lab, whichever way, it has to be like the same scenario for each and every student that enters the lab. And that was my motto. And in fact, now current students are also maintaining that, and I'm pretty happy for that. I could set up that thing along with my guide. Yeah.
अच्छा भैया, एक चीज जो मुझे पूछनी थी, वो भी मतलब टेक्निकल इश्यूज से थोड़ा दूर है। जैसे जब कोई भी एक बैच ज्वाइन करता है किसी भी इंस्टीट्यूट में पीएचडी के लिए, तो उस बैच में कहीं 5, 10, 15 बच्चे सिलेक्ट होते हैं, ठीक है। तो सपोज दैट जैसे आईआईटीज की अगर मैं बात करूं तो वहाँ 50 बच्चे वो एक साथ लेते हैं, ठीक है। तो 35 बच्चों का कोई जो ज्वाइन करते हैं वो लगभग 30 होते हैं, 35 होते हैं। कुछ लोग नहीं करते, क्योंकि आपने जैसे बताया पिछले इंटरव्यू में भी कि लगभग सभी बच्चे रिपीटेड बच्चे होते हैं जो सभी जगह पे सिलेक्ट हो रहे हैं, तो सभी एक इंस्टीट्यूट को ज्वाइन नहीं कर सकते। तो ऑलमोस्ट जो लास्ट में जो ज्वाइन कर पाते हैं वो 30, 35 प्लस कुछ ऐसे कुछ बच्चे होते हैं। अब इसमें क्या होता है कि जैसे जो बच्चे ज्वाइन करते हैं, अब किसी का फर्स्ट ईयर में पब्लिकेशन आ जाता है, किसी का सेकेंड ईयर में आता है, किसी का 5th ईयर में जाके पब्लिकेशन आता है, किसी के पीएचडी में 20 पब्लिकेशंस भी हैं। मैं फर्स्ट ऑथर की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, सब मिला करके, अगर भाई उसका कोलैबोरेशन अच्छा है, लोगों के साथ काम कर रहा है। किसी के पीएचडी में 2 ही पब्लिकेशन आ रहे हैं। तो आप लोगों को कैसे मोटिवेट करना चाहिए? क्योंकि देखो, जितना मुझे लगता है कि हर एक का अपना लाइफ में एम अलग होता है, कि आपको पीएचडी के बाद असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर बनना है एक कॉलेज में, या आपको आईआईटी में प्रोफेसर बनना है, या आपको अपना किसी जो इंडिया के जो गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, अच्छे बार्क है, डीआरडीओ है, यहाँ साइंटिस्ट बनना है, आपको नासा के साथ काम करना है। हर किसी का एक अपना एक अलग एम है, एक अलग सपना है अपनी लाइफ से लेके। तो लेकिन लोग बात क्या करते हैं कि जब पीएचडी में आते हैं, चूंकि उनका बैच सेम है, तो वो कंपेयर करते हैं, यार उसका तो पेपर आ गया, मेरा नहीं आया, यार उसका तो नेचर आ गया, मेरा नहीं आया, यार उसका तो पीआरएल आया, यार मेरा तो छोटे से जनरल में आया है, या फिर यार उसका तो पब्लिकेशन आ रहा है, मेरा नहीं आ रहा, यार उसकी तो लैब अच्छी है, मेरी लैब में ये सारी फैसिलिटीज नहीं है। तो आप उनको कैसे मतलब मोटिवेट करना चाहोगे कि पीएचडी में कंपैरिजन जरूरी नहीं होता है? मेरे हिसाब से आप लोगों को अगर आप देखोगे, हमेशा यही सोचते रहोगे कि काश मेरे पास वो होता, तो आप शायद हमेशा पूरी लाइफ आप दुखी ही रहोगे। क्योंकि आज पीएचडी की चीज है, कल को कोई और चीज रहेगी, परसों कोई और चीज रहेगी। आप जॉब में रहोगे तभी भी चीजें ऐसी रहेंगी, आप स्कूलिंग में थे तभी भी चीजें ऐसी रहेंगी कि यार उसके पास तो बाइसिकल अच्छी वाली है, मेरे पास नहीं है, उसके पास तो मोबाइल फोन है, मेरे पास नहीं है। तो आप इस चीज को कैसे उनको मतलब मोटिवेट करना चाहोगे कि लोगों से कंपेयर करना बंद करें, जो अपने सपने हैं उन पे फोकस करें कि उनके लिए मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है। मेरा थोड़ा ऐसा सोचना है कि जो आपके सपने हैं केवल उनके लिए फोकस किया जाए, केवल उनकी जो मिनिमम रिक्वायरमेंट्स है उनके ऊपर फोकस किया जाए कि मैं जो कर रहा हूँ एक्चुअली में मैं सही कर रहा हूँ या नहीं, या जैसा मैं कल था आज उससे बेटर हूँ या नहीं। मेरे हिसाब से ऐसा कुछ है, तो आप उसके बारे में कैसे थोड़ा फोकस डालोगे अपने व्यूअर्स को, कैसे आप मोटिवेट करोगे?
See, see, these are very common things in anybody's life. So, in fact, I have also gone through many of the things. But the simplest thought comes: would you compare your mom to some other mother? Would you compare your mother to, say, your mother? Your love that our own mother gives us is uncomparable. Can you compare? You can't compare your aunt or someone else. Like, see, there for them, their own kids are much more loving and caring, whatever they do. See, it's a very specific bonding. Okay, so I would think, see, it's the way that our mom is so special to us and the way she cares us. Similarly, see, we are born with some kind of thing which is very unique. I mean, comparing itself is not that should not come to anyone's mind. Oh, yeah, you can compare to make yourself better. That you can do. That's what I do. If somebody is studying well, doing well, to know, like you say, right? You don't imitate but emulate. That's what you do it, right? Somebody is doing much better. Okay, learn from him, but don't try to imitate and like compete with him. Because what happens, this motivation not only I get from this kind of the relationship that I talked about, mom and myself, but also in cricket, because I get a lot of inspiration from there. See, I may win many matches, I may score 50s here and there, but my always thing is that can I play a shot like which I played the previous year better than that? Let's say square card, cover drive, straight, whatever I can play. Okay, so my enjoyment comes there, not by out competing or like scoring more than someone else. What I have done in the process, I have also got prizes regarding that in IISc. So I already achieved that thing. In fact, some point of, if I have not achieved some point of time, it will come to me. But focus is on like, am I doing better than the previous day? See, the satisfaction level has to change somehow. Now, regarding the Ph.D, see, the field that we work on, like we were working software physics colloidal membrane. It's not easy to publish like in some other field like material science. I'm not saying easy. I'm saying it's the frequency of papers that are published. It's what is on record. I'm saying that is much higher in the material case than what we do in the labs, that software physics lab that we have in IISc. So there is no point of comparing. See, as I said, you can compare like apple to apple. You cannot compare apple to banana. You see, there are two different things, and their frustration should not come into picture. Somehow you should motivate. You should know yourself what you are doing. You can make yourself better. See, also the publishing a research article in a good journal is not a joke. I always feel that also happens by luck. Meaning, you do your best part. You try hard, like at the best, whatever you can do. See, whatever it's not within your control, it's not within your control. You cannot control that. Okay, so I think best thing is not to compare regarding anything in your life, because what you are so specific, you are so unique in this universe, so unique that whatever you have, probably many other people don't have. First thing is to realize what you have, and if you feel that you have deficient in something, try to include those things, rather than thinking, okay, X and Y is publishing 4 papers in a month or 4 papers in a year, so I should also do that. No, that doesn't go well. It's a PhD is not like machine. You just keep doing something, and then if you are doing that, you are not justice to yourself. See, you can cheat somewhere else, but you cannot cheat to yourself. So I think regarding that, you should not, anyone should not compare. I know that in the current, because in college students, I always feel, and then anywhere you go in any normal Indian society, you will see that there's a competition for marks. They're comparing. This son has got this many marks. That son. I think somewhere in the process of that, what we are losing the value of education. We are losing the main thing that every student should know. Because we are always in that comparing, so we feel much better. Suppose if I got higher marks than someone else, I feel much better. That feeling has to somehow go off, and that it's not only the student, as the parents and other society members also have to play a good role in that. And also, if you are a young adult, then you should understand yourself that, see, at some point of time, everything is living. See, when you are playing a game, you could be of 20 years old, you could be of 35 years old, but you are playing the same game, bat and ball. If I'm talking about the game that I play, so all are same, right? You are talking about bat and ball. It's almost like that. There is no comparison of age. Okay, skillfully you can compare, but it's just because you have more skill and highly you are skillful, not necessarily you will win every day. So yeah, those things should motivate us to do, instead of always focus on what you have rather than focusing on what we don't have. Because if we focus what we have, probably we know what we can do much better. I always feel, if I can do something with the resources that I have, that is much better than I'm keeping and comparing and complaining about, oh, I don't have this, don't have. If I had that, I could have done this. No, that kind of thing, I don't think so. We should live in that kind of hallucination world. Yeah.
ओके लसित भैया, मैं भी यहाँ पर मतलब अपने 2-3 लाइनें बोलना चाहूंगा कि जैसे आपका जो बचपन रहा है और दूसरे पर्सन का जो बचपन रहा है, दोनों का बचपन अलग अलग था। उनको जो फैसिलिटीज मिली थी वो अलग अलग मिली थी, उनका एनवायरनमेंट अलग था बचपन से, उनका एजुकेशन सिस्टम अलग था, उनको जो सारी चीजें सिखाई गई हैं बचपन से वो सारी अलग हैं। तो आप किसी से अपने आप को कंपेयर मत करो। हो सकता है कि वो अच्छे मतलब बचपन से एक अच्छे स्कूल में पढ़ा है, अच्छे उसको एजुकेशन मिला है, उसके पेरेंट्स अच्छे एजुकेटेड हैं, ऑब्वियसली वो आपसे 2 चीजें हो सकता है ज्यादा जानता हो किसी और फील्ड में, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं कि हर एक फील्ड में वो आपसे ज्यादा जानता है। आप अपनी लाइफ में इस पूरी दुनिया में सबसे अलग हो, आपके अंदर एक ऐसी खूबी छुपी हुई है, अगर आप उसको ढूंढ लेते हो तो आप दुनिया में सबसे ज्यादा आगे जा सकते हो। हर किसी को यहाँ पे इस यूनिवर्स में एक स्पेशल पावर दी गई है जिसको बस पहचानने की जरूरत है। अब चूंकि आपका एनवायरनमेंट अलग नहीं है, अब जैसे अगर आप बने ही नहीं हो स्टडी के लिए और आप स्टडी में अपना पूरा फोकस लगा रहे, तो जरूरी नहीं है, मैं ये नहीं कहूंगा कि आप हमेशा फेल होगे, लेकिन आप उसमें अपना बेस्ट, आप ये चाहो कि मैं टॉप 1 पे रहूं हर चीज में, तो वो पॉसिबल नहीं है। अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैं वैसे नहीं कहूंगा, लेकिन शायद अगर सचिन आज पढ़ाई पे ज्यादा फोकस करते बजाय क्रिकेट के, तो शायद वो नंबर 1 नहीं होते, लेकिन उन्होंने क्रिकेट पे फोकस किया क्योंकि उनको पैशन था, उनको अच्छा लगता था, उनको एंजॉय होता था, उनको पसंद था खेलना, तो आज वो नंबर 1 क्रिकेटर है हमारे इंडिया के भी और ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड में भी। ठीक है, तो जो आपको पसंद है आप वो करें, किसी से कंपेयर करने की जरूरत नहीं है। तो चलिए हम सेशन को आगे।
Childhood plays a very big role, a big factor. In fact, I always say to my parents, if my parents were, they're middle class family and they're farmers, so I openly say to them, if you were earning a lot, I don't think so I would have become like this. Probably I would have studied well, did something, but I don't think so I would have become like this. To a I myself feel to keep myself mentally calm and then mentally stable at the difficult situation. I don't think so I would have gained this kind of experience, because my family background is such a way that because of that I have become like that. So in fact, sometimes things which may seem very worse to us may play a very big role to make you much better in future, because these things are blessing in disguise, I would say. So that's why we should look at the things very positively. Otherwise, I mean, that's the fun of the life, I would say, because now the current pandemic situation also I know it's a very hard time to keep ourselves mentally and physically fit. But yet, if we are trying to, at whatever level we can do, uh, because I am also involved with the kids to make some video and make them feel happy. How do I, and along with their studies, how can I maintain a very fresh mind and jolly mind with them? So in that way, I am also involved in that. So I'm happy with that. So in that way, your childhood plays a huge role in shaping up your future. So that's why, see, the comparison never comes. I mean, as I said, you cannot compare your mom with someone else. I mean, start with that. Starting with our own birth. How can you compare? So the comparison itself is not so good.
अच्छा लसित भैया, मैं अब जो मेरा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है वो थोड़ा ये है, हम टेक्निकली आ जाते हैं कि जब हम पीएचडी इंटरव्यू के बाद जब हम काफी सारे इंस्टीट्यूट्स में सिलेक्ट होते हैं तो हमारा एक एम होता है कि हम किसी ऐसे इंस्टीट्यूट में सिलेक्ट हो जहां पे हमें मतलब ज्यादा से ज्यादा फैसिलिटीज हमें मिल सके, जिससे हम अपनी रिसर्च अच्छे से कर सके, हमें जो इंस्टीट्यूट हो वेल डेवलप्ड हो, हमें जो पैसा वगैरह है वो सफिशिएंट पैसा मिल सके हमारी पीएचडी के लिए, अगर जो हमारे प्रोफेसर उनके पास सफिशिएंट प्रोजेक्ट्स वगैरह हैं तो हमें जो चीजें हम बोलेंगे वो लाके दे सकते हैं, अगर नहीं भी आपके लैब में है तो। और जैसे तो हम अच्छा एक इंस्टीट्यूट चुनने की कोशिश करते हैं, उसके पीछे मेन रीजन यही होता है कि वहाँ फैसिलिटीज अच्छी होंगी। और दूसरी एक बात कि जैसे मान लीजिए आप अपनी लैब में कोई भी एक एक्सपेरिमेंट कर रहे हैं, कोई भी, तो उसके पीछे 50 तरह की प्रॉब्लम्स हो सकती हैं। हो सकता है कि आपके केमिकल्स जो हैं वो हाईली प्योरिटी के साथ नहीं है, हो सकता है कि आप जो कर रहे हैं वो आपका तरीका सही नहीं है, वहां कुछ मिस्टेक हो रही है, आप बार बार मान लीजिए किसी एक्सपेरिमेंट में फेल हो रहे हो। अब चूंकि अगर आपको पीएचडी कंप्लीट करनी है तो आपको एक नया काम करना होगा, एक नया कुछ खोजना होगा जिससे कि आप पीएचडी थीसिस सबमिट कर सको। तो मेरा ये पूछना है कि अगर मान लीजिए आप ट्राई कर रहे हो स्टार्टिंग से, क्योंकि फर्स्ट ईयर सेकंड ईयर तो ऐसे ही चला जाता है अपने कोर्स वर्क में, कंपनी में, तो आप बार बार ट्राई कर रहे हो और आप थर्ड ईयर फोर्थ ईयर में मान लीजिए पहुंच चुके हो, आपके कुछ रिजल्ट्स भी हैं, आपको नहीं लग रहा है कि ऐसा कुछ निकल करके आ रहा है जिसको मैं पब्लिश कर सकूं, बार बार मतलब आप ट्राई कर रहे हो लेकिन एक ही चीज ट्राई कर रहे हो लेकिन वो मतलब नहीं हो पा रही है, बार बार आपको फेलियर ऐसे हो रही है, तो आप उस चीज में मतलब क्या बोलना चाहेंगे व्यूअर्स को कि आपको अपना फील्ड स्विच करना चाहिए थोड़ा, या आपको अपनी टेक्निक चेंज करनी चाहिए वो सब करने की, या आपको किसी दूसरे मटेरियल पे काम करना चाहिए, मतलब वो सिचुएशन कैसे आप हैंडल करना चाहोगे? क्योंकि आप ऑलरेडी फोर्थ ईयर में हो, अभी आपके पास केवल 1 साल है, उसके बाद आपकी फेलोशिप भी बंद होने वाली है, तो कुछ केसेस होते हैं जिनका फोर्थ ईयर आ जाता है, कुछ रिजल्ट्स नहीं निकल के आते हैं, तो उस सिचुएशन को कैसे हैंडल किया जाए मतलब?
Yeah, so first thing, I know that these are very common problems with PhDs. I mean, this that you get. So, see, running away from the problem itself is pretty one of the easiest option. Okay, and that should not be followed immediately, I would say. So instead, what you can do, see, the PhD itself, as I say, it's not a straight path. It will be a lot of difficulties, a lot of problems. So first of all, mentally, we should prepare ourselves before going to lab. That today is my day and I will work. And that's what, see, these are things, first thing, you should communicate well with your guide. And what she or he thinks about the problem. These are the problems. Maybe you are not doing well. So whenever you're stuck in a problem, what you ask your colleagues, ask your friend, discuss with your friends, discuss with your guide. You do your literature review well. Somebody is doing some problem, and I think if those things also do not work out, and then you can convey to your guide, this is not working out. Probably sometimes if you have problem, change the problem, right? So that also you can do. So but that will also take in, say, new problem. Just because you're jumping in the new problem doesn't mean that will be a very easy one to solve. That will also have its own problems to solve. See, to doing an experiment, though it may look like pretty simple, because I was the first student, so you have to set up the entire stuff. See, it's like, because we use microscope and many other optical instruments, so we need to build Microscope, okay, more or less it will come as a, from the company side, they will come and set it up. You can, so you should know how to use that. For any other machines that other labs use, so you should know how to operate that. And there are many cases where you need to set up your own instruments, like optical, because I use some optical instruments. So then you need to set up, you should align these, that, and you should know. To do a experiment could be of hardly 15 minutes, 1 hour, half an hour, like that. But to set it up, it may take 1 month. So you should prepare well. I mean, it's a long innings. It's like a test match kind of thing. So I always compare these things to my game, because when I used to write my unit test in those school days, then I used to think this is like a T20. When I used to write this end semester or this annual exams, then I think it's a ODI. But then PhD, when I came to PhD, it's like a test match. It keeps on going for, it's like you go finish the day, come back again, do it again, and it's only you will fail. So see, it's like you should make friend with your fail. I mean, then one day he will say like, to me, it used to happen that, you know, if you don't fail, then I used to think something is wrong. I mean, why I'm not failing? If it works out in the first attempt, I would think something is wrong. Something is, so that's the, it's like, see, you can see me smile on my face, because that's so common for us. If you fail, it's okay, it's going on well. If it works out, then some problem is there. See, that kind of positivity I used to have, and later on, as I said, because some of the experiment that I have done, I told my guide also later, if you ask me to repeat, I cannot repeat. Cannot repeat in the sense, not that I am not willing to repeat, I can repeat, because many things has to fall in place. Instrument has to work. The experiment, that exact phenomena has to show itself, because I was working with some statistically very large collection of objects, some virus rods. So everything has to fall in place. Then only see, it's not like it's a movie you are shooting or something is not right, you cut it, paste it. No, it's not like that. If it fails, you have to start all over again. And just for that small 5-10 seconds, you need to do the entire thing. And if it fails, and you start from there again. What do you do if it fails? Again, you go back and start. So that kind of motivation, that kind of dedication you should have for the research. Then only you can inspire of that. See, that's only about the experiment. Okay, you got the results. Then you need to interpret. That it's then also another thing. So as a student, at least I didn't have that much of experience, or I was not so talented enough to, you know, quickly see something like, oh, this is the result, so how can I present to someone else? So in that case, my guide was pretty good at that. So she used to like make a story, make this, and we can fall in. And after once I did work, then I was, you know, getting skillful in that. I could also make my own story and try to say, or probably if I say something like this, it will be better. Because it's almost like now I feel it's like a movie shooting. See, it's like you do your experiment, you cannot convey to your audience or the reader who will read your publication as it is. It should be a story. See, your paper has to speak some story, and it should have some figures, graphs, this, that. So it should be like a story. So each and everything a student has to take into concern. Okay. So like first you do the experiments as best as you can do, analyze the data. Then you should know how to present these things. So you want to convey this information to the reader. See, all the information may not require to convey to the reader. That may be in some other. So that's your secret. Which one you want to say, which one you don't want to say. And those things, once you do the PhD, as you see, you should. That's why you should be attentive and sincere in each and everything. If you cheat somewhere, you are cheating yourself. That's where the problem comes. And that sincerity is most important, because if you work hard for that 5 years, then it's like it makes you as an individual also you change. Because I have changed a lot during my PhD days. And because now when I look back, any problem that comes in my life, I feel like, okay, I have done PhD. It's not that for my degree that I can write doctorate in front of my, not for that, but the experience that I have, it gives me, like, I have anyway failed n number of times. Probably somebody asked how many times you have failed. There is only the failed person that I can relate to myself is myself. Because there are so many times I failed, but yet I could some point of time. Successes are countable during a PhD days. You will fail n number of times. but then that keeps me going forward. So that's why I think as part of the, instead of switching the problem, if the situation, you should give, I know time, it's a time bound. See, as in many of the professors in some of the videos, you may see that, so we should, as a research student, we should give full freedom, like, time, there should not be time bound. Financially, it should be stable such that he or she can think and do individual research. But it has got a lot of advantage as well as disadvantage. So we should, and also see, our PhD is not the end point of the life. After PhD, also there are many things to be done. So it's like you should take a decisions depending upon situation. I see. Only thing that you should try sincerely. You should try figure out the problem. You can go and talk to many other professors with the permission of your guide, if she or he permits, or if he, sometimes, in my cases, many of the time, my guide used to, let's go and talk to some other professor in some other department, because I did many of the experiments in biological sciences and in chemical engineering in IISc. In fact, I have collaboration from RRI Bangalore and then IIT Bombay. Even though I did not study in those, I did not do PhD, but somehow people are related from those institutes. So yeah, ultimately it's like a, if they say that if there's a will, there's a way. So yeah, you can figure out the problem. It's not that you should not be like very close-minded or introvert, that, oh, I'm only facing the problem, what will happen to me. Instead of that, you can communicate well, and then things will go well, I think.
अच्छा, मैं अभी अपने सभी व्यूअर्स से ये कहना चाहूंगा कि अगर आप यहाँ तक इस वीडियो में पहुंच गए हैं तो आपके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि आपने यहाँ तक ये वीडियो देखा है। मैं आप सभी से कहता हूँ कि अगर आपको कोई भी डाउट है तो आप हमारे कमेंट बॉक्स में हमें लिख सकते हो, हम आपको जरूर की जरूर उसका रिप्लाई करेंगे। और लचित भैया के लिए पर्सनल अगर कोई कमेंट है तो भी आप लिख सकते हो, जब भी उनको टाइम मिलेगा। उनका काफी बिजी शेड्यूल होता है, लेकिन जब भी उनको टाइम मिलेगा तो आपके लिए टाइम निकाल के उन कमेंट्स का आंसर आपको करेंगे। और अगर आप लोगों को हमसे कांटेक्ट करना है, लचित भैया से कांटेक्ट करना है, तो आप हमारी जो मेल आईडी है वहां पर जो चैनल पर दी हुई है वहां पर आप हमें मेल कर सकते हो। मैं लचित भैया तक आपकी बात पहुंचा दूंगा, या फिर मैं वीडियो के डिस्क्रिप्शन लिंक में लचित भैया की मेल आईडी डाल दूंगा, तो आप वहां से भी उनसे कांटेक्ट डायरेक्ट कर सकते हो। ठीक है, तो अभी इस सेशन को हम आगे बढ़ाएंगे। देखिए, पीएचडी से रिलेटेड लोगों के बहुत सारी क्वेरीज हैं, तो सारी क्वेरीज हम एक छोटे से वीडियो में सब कुछ कवर नहीं कर सकते हैं, तो मे भी कुछ चीजें हमसे मिस हो जाएंगी। तो आप उनको कमेंट बॉक्स के जरिए या मेल करके पूछ सकते हो। ऐसा कोई बाउंडेशन नहीं है कि आपको वो सब हम नहीं, आपकी वो क्वेरीज क्लियर नहीं करेंगे या नहीं बताएंगे, क्योंकि एक छोटे से वीडियो में सब कुछ क्लियर करना पॉसिबल नहीं है। अच्छा लचित भैया, जैसे कुछ लोगों का मतलब क्वेश्चंस आते हैं मेरे पास, अभी जो नए नए एमएससी से फ्रेश आए हैं, इंटरव्यूज में उतरने वाले हैं, तो उनके दिमाग में ये होता है, वो पूछते हैं कि भैया जैसे अगर हमें एडमिशन मिल जाता है या हम कहीं पे पीएचडी में एडमिशन ले लेते हैं, तो हमें कितना टाइम पीएचडी के दौरान देना पड़ेगा, मतलब हमारा शेड्यूल कैसा हो जाएगा, क्या हमारी पूरी लाइफ बिजी रहेगी, क्या हमें, जैसे लोग बात जैसे बोलते हैं, अब कुछ लोग होते हैं जो अपनी लैब में 12-12 घंटे भी बिताते हैं, कुछ लोग होते हैं जो अपनी लैब में नियमित रूप से 8 घंटे बिताते हैं लेकिन रेगुलर बिताते हैं। तो आप मतलब उनको किस तरह से इसका आंसर देना चाहोगे कि पीएचडी में हमें कितना टाइम देना होता है? और एक चीज की, जब वो पीएचडी में एडमिशन ले रहे हैं तो क्या पीएचडी को उन्हें एज ए डिग्री समझना चाहिए, जैसे वो बीएससी एमएससी करके आए हैं कि भाई गए 3 साल में एक पीएचडी बीएससी की डिग्री हमें मिल जाएगी, थोड़ा सा पढ़ना है एग्जाम्स देने हैं, ऐसे ही एमएससी में गए थोड़ा सा पढ़ना है एग्जाम्स देने हैं, एमएससी की डिग्री मिल जाएगी। लेकिन पीएचडी नॉट जस्ट ए डिग्री आई थिंक, क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं है कि आप आए, आपको पढ़ना है एग्जाम, आपको एक्सपेरिमेंट्स करने हैं, और वो एक्सपेरिमेंट्स आपके सक्सेसफुल होने चाहिए। और आपको ये भी नहीं पता कि वो कब तक नहीं होंगे, क्योंकि आप एक नई रिसर्च, एक नया काम करने वाले हो। तो आप क्या मतलब हमारे व्यूअर्स को बताना चाहोगे कि कितना टाइम आपको लैब में देना पड़ेगा? मतलब ये देखो, स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड तो नहीं है, लेकिन अपना एक नजरिया क्या है, और आप पीएचडी लाइफ को एज ए लाइफ का पार्ट मानते हुए आपको उसको एंजॉय करना चाहिए, या जस्ट एक डिग्री समझ के उसको कंप्लीट करना चाहिए? तो उसके बारे में आप क्या कहना चाहोगे?
Yeah. So see, for me it was pretty simple, because as I said, whatever I do with my sincerity and at best that I can. And see, if you're asking for questions, how much time you need to give to PhD, in the lab, is that, see, there is See, if you're coming in that kind of mindset, either you have to change the mindset, or I would think, please do not come with that kind of mindset. If you're thinking that I will go like office hours kind of thing, a 9 to 5 and I'll go off, then I think it's not a place for you. I mean, to be straightforward. Otherwise, it will be a problem for you. You mentally, psychologically, physically will feel very disturbed in this kind of places, because PhD is something that there'll be time where you will feel that, suppose somebody is doing on some electron, you will feel like, yeah, you are the electron. Because I work with virus rods, I feel like I am the virus. Because in my mind you'll keep on running this experiment, that will happen, virus will go here, there, this, that. So I behave, my mental state is like that. If suppose I am the virus, why I did not work? Suppose my experiment failed. So my thought process will be, okay, probably this must have happened. That if this happened, I have to tweak that. So see, there is nothing, if you think about, okay, only thing you can think about, okay, this is a breakfast time, let's go and have breakfast. Lunch time, let's go and have it. Yeah. Of course, there is your physical tiredness will come up. Then you need to go and sleep, take rest, whatever. See, you need to know how to balance your life. Okay, this is very important. Whichever way, mentally, physically, because the thing that I like, I used to listen to Assamese music, one thing, and cricket. Cricket had many of the IISc more than anything else. People know me with the game. So you should know how to balance your life. So what I used to do is like, you go to the lab. Whenever I go, see, I never went to the lab thinking that, are lab jana hai. No, not like that. With all sincerity, and then whatever work I need to do, I would go and do the work. And then other than that, if I don't have any work to do in the lab, which is very rare situation in the lab, then I used to go and play cricket. So weekend time, Saturday, Sunday used to be the weekend. So I always, most of the time I used to play the game. And there also I realized, see, many people, so I used to play tennis ball cricket. Then people came to know that I also played news ball cricket in my university days. Then they had, like many times they called me, and then I decided myself, I know that yes, I can play the game. Probably, I don't know whether I'll be successful or not, but still, I don't, because that needs a lot of time. You need to practice. Then I decided, if I do that thing, I'll not be able to give 100% attention to my lab. So I did not compromise myself with the lab work. But weekend, if I go and play tennis ball cricket, then I no problem. Just go and have fun for 2 hours and come back. And there is a lot of competition. So I used to keep balancing my life with the game. And somehow I used to carry the positivity from the ground to the lab. I may be failing all the time in the lab, but in the ground, most of the time, I was successful. And then also I meet many people, I talk to them. It makes me very fresh every time that because right, if you live in an institute, many other people, a lot of jokes go around. We have fun as a friends. Sometime in the weekend, you go out and have dinner, lunch, whatever, with your lab mates or your friends. Then you spend those time, and then whatever refreshment that you get, you come back and use that in your lab. So I used to always, like, all the good things that go around in my life other than the lab, I used to apply in my lab, and then I used to work. So, and it was, we had gone to the lab, at least I had gone to the lab with out of interest. Nobody compelled me to do that. Because in that way, I realized most of the time, either I am in the lab or in the room or in the ground. That's all. Nowhere wandering around, moving, thinking some other stuff. So what happens? I realized that if I can maintain this dedication, then I'll be successful. You never know which is contributing to your success. In that scenario, that's why I would say, don't come to the lab thinking the PhD is not. See, if you're thinking a simple PhD, I don't know about it. If you can get that kind of degree, but at least in IISc, it's a rigorous one. You need to publish good papers. At least you can aim. See, also you should aim high, right? A low aim is a crime, as someone had said that. So see, you can, if you aim for really high, let's say 100, probably you will reach 80 or 70, right? So, but if you aim 50, then you will reach 20 and 30. mean, in that scale I'm talking about. So that's why, but for that you need to give all the dedication and hard work. So that's why that mindset of giving time to the lab. See, you are doing justice to yourself by giving the time. It's not that you are doing favor to your guide. See, your guide is not going to get the PhD. I know some credits will go to her that one more PhD student have come, passed out from her lab, and but that's her job, right? But whatever you are going to gain. So that's why if you're coming for PhD, you should think that I will wholeheartedly, I will work. And who knows, that small thing somewhere will motivate you to become, you can become much better scientist. Right? You never know, the small thing will, you may see something in your experiment which will revolutionize the entire world, right? So who knows that? No, the probability is always there, right? It's not zero. So that's why I think, and you should know how to maintain the entire. And IISc is a place where you can always, if you're friendly, if you're very good at communicating yourself, you can have fun with your friends. You have a lot of opportunities, a lot of options to engage yourself. If you're good at any cultural activities, any painting, photography, whatnot, there are so many clubs that you can join, you can spend time. If you are very good, interested in building your body, I mean, gym facilities available. If you want to play any game, that is, everything is available. So that it should be part of your life. You should not think going to lab is my daily, somehow I need to go to lab, and then no, it's that kind of attitude has to, your attitude has to change. So the question, if you're asking this kind of questions where if unknowingly, that's okay. But if you're knowingly what a PhD is, if you're asking how much time I need to give, okay, suppose if I ask you the question back, suppose you want to give 5 hours to the lab, what else you will do in the remaining 19 hours? Right? That will be my question. So if you're thinking that if you want to do a part-time PhD, there is, as far as I know, in IISc there is no part-time PhD. In fact, good institute will not be, there's nothing called as part-time PhD. Meaning I get this phrase many times. People ask, can I do part-time PhD? PhD is not like some job you do part-time. A lot of you wholeheartedly, whole brain, your entire body, everything, because you need to at times you need to operate an instrument which will be so sophisticated, so dangerous. So if you don't know how to operate that, there could be disaster. So your focus mentally, physically, everything has to be there. So there are a lot more things that we simply see. It's very nice to say that he did, or somebody did PhD from IISc or IIT or any other institute, but behind that, I think there's life learning lessons. I mean, I cannot forget those things. It makes you so responsible to a institute or to a lab or to your guide or to your lab mates. It's like each and every individual becomes so responsible. And if you're coming for a PhD at IISc, at least you should come up with that mind. That even if you are not responsible for yourself, you should be responsible for your lab mates or lab and lab instruments and your guide. That's right. If that mindset, I think then other things will fall in place. It's just a psychological and mental setup that you need to do. Remaining things, and don't think that every time you need to do the lab. No, not like that. You will get ample opportunity to enjoy and have fun with your friends and go out and do whatever you are interested. If you're having some other interest, that also you can do. Now, Dilip itself, you can see he is interested in making these videos. He's now doing these things. He visits all the hostels, mess, and makes videos. So it's a nice thing. And people are willing to know about these things. So because I always feel very fortunate to be part of IISc, because there are thousands of students who have tried, who are willing to part of the institute but could not, unfortunately. And also in future, some people will come. So it's a great thing to be a part of this institute.
अच्छा लसित भी, आपने काफी सारी चीजें आज बताई, तो अभी शायद टाइम भी मुझे लगता है कि 1 आवर से क्रॉस कर चुका है हमारे वीडियो को। तो अभी सारी चीजें हम कवर अप नहीं कर सकते हैं, फिर भी हम जितना हो सकता है हमने चीजें कवर करने की कोशिश की। और मैं अपने व्यूअर्स से यही कहना चाहूंगा कि अगर फिर भी आपका कोई डाउट है, देखिए अलग अलग लोगों का अलग अलग सोचने का तरीका होता है, 50 तरह के डाउट्स हो सकते हैं, तो आप हमें कमेंट बॉक्स में लिख सकते हो, हम आपके सभी जो है क्वेरीज हैं उनको दूर करने की कोशिश करेंगे, ठीक है। तो और लक्षित भैया ने अपना वैल्यूएबल टाइम से टाइम निकाला, मैंने निकाला, तो आप उसकी टाइम की कदर करते हैं, हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर सकते हो हमें सपोर्ट करने के लिए। और सब्सक्राइब करना इतना जरूरी नहीं है जितना जरूरी है कि आप तक नॉलेज पहुंचे, आप जो जानना चाह रहे हो, जो आपकी जरूरत है वो पहुंचे। अगर आपको अच्छा लगे तो सब्सक्राइब करो, नहीं लगे कोई बात नहीं, लेकिन आपको सीखे, ये हमारे लिए ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, ठीक है। तो अभी आने वाले सेशंस में हम लसित भैया से बात करेंगे कि पीएचडी के बाद आपके लिए क्या क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं। मे बी आप इस वीडियो से काफी कुछ सीखे होंगे पीएचडी के बारे में, काफी कुछ आपकी क्वेरीज दूर हुई होंगी। आगे आने वाली वीडियोस में हम लोग बात करेंगे कि पीएचडी के लाइफ के बाद में आपके पास क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं, और जो ग्रेजुएशन से ही आपका माइंडसेट कैसा रहे अपनी फ्यूचर लाइफ के लिए, आप कैसे अपनी फ्यूचर लाइफ में गोल्स को अचीव कर सकते हो। देखिए, मैं आपसे एक चीज कह देना चाहता हूँ, अगर आप यहाँ तक पहुंचे हो तो आपको पता होना चाहिए, आपको कुछ अच्छा सीखने को मिलना चाहिए कि आप सोच रहे होंगे कि हमें लोग बाग मोटिवेशन वीडियोस देते हैं, लोग बाग अच्छे अच्छे जो सक्सेसफुल पीपल्स हैं उनका टॉक रिकॉर्ड करते हैं, उनके टॉक्स आपको दिए जाते हैं, चाहे वो आप यूपीएससी तैयारी यूपीएससी की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हो तो आपको आईएएस वगैरह बुलाए जाते हैं, बाहर से उनके टॉक सुनाए जाते हैं। अगर आप किसी कॉलेज में असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर हो तो बड़ा एक प्रोफेसर बुलाया जाएगा, एक साइंटिस्ट बुलाया जाएगा, आपको उनसे टॉक दिलवाया जाएगा। उन सबके पीछे रीजन ये होता है कि एक सक्सेसफुल पर्सन ने क्या किया, ठीक है, उन्होंने अपनी लाइफ में कौन से ऐसे रूल्स अपनाए जिनसे वो आज सक्सेसफुल है। देखिए, सक्सेस का कोई एक सिंपल स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड रूल नहीं है, ठीक है। वो आप सीख सकते हो कि सक्सेसफुल पीपल्स ने जो फॉलो किया अपनी लाइफ में, उन्होंने क्या फॉलो किया, उनमें से कौन सी चीजें आप फॉलो कर रहे हो और कौन सी नहीं, कौन सी आपको सही लगती है, जिनको आप अपना सकते हो। तो सक्सेसफुल पीपल्स के उनके कदमों के पीछे पीछे जाने से ही आप लाइफ में सक्सेसफुल बन सकते हो, ठीक है। तो यही एक तरह का है, एक वे है सक्सेसफुल बनने का, इसलिए आपको सक्सेसफुल पीपल्स के टॉक्स सुनाए जाते हैं, बचपन से ही दिखाए जाते हैं, जिससे कि आप उनको फॉलो कर सको और आप भी अपनी लाइफ में एक सक्सेसफुल पर्सन बन सको, ठीक है। तो ये आज का हमारा वीडियो था। तो भैया, आप लास्ट में अगर कुछ कहना चाहते हैं अपने व्यूअर्स से तो कहिए पीएचडी के बारे में, उसके बाद हम कंक्लूड करते हैं
Yeah,
हमारे।
it's I think rather than thinking PhD is simply a degree, I would say that whoever is willing to do a PhD, see, not necessarily that you will come immediately after MSc. You may do job. Suppose there are BTech students or maybe master students also, they can do some job. Then after a few years they can come and join for PhD. But only what, as far as my life goes, I always feel PhD is something which we should know how to enjoy, and and there are a lot of learning things that come into our life, because this, for me, PhD made me a person that I am right now, because I got a recognition, I got a status because of the PhD that I have done, where and that lab mates and the guy that I worked with, and also it made me internally a very strong person, because I had to struggle through not only my work but a lot of personal stuff and personal and family stuff and regarding this. So it made me, and also I am obliged to many rules, many and how to. It's almost like you run a show, right? You run a lab, because and these opportunities came because I was the first student of the lab. That's why it made me feel it's my lab, our lab. So each and everything has to be in place. Suppose somebody, it's like time management skill. So that I have picked up, because same thing I am now in my work scenario. I am able to apply those things, and as far as till date, I am much more successful than what I was thought during those times, because any demotivation or any depression comes, I always think in PhD time it was much better. In fact, to my parents also I say the same thing. I mean, I have faced much bigger problem than this, so it's okay, I can solve this problem, any problem that comes. So it, as a human being, it changed me a lot. So if somebody is thinking, if you take PhD seriously, it will really, it's a life making process. And I know it's not easy. I would say because I have crossed the barrier, so I am able to say that. But during that course of PhD, it's really tough. I mean, mentally, physically, you would say it's a rigorous thing. You have a lot of mental tension and stress and these things. But it also gave me, when you know how to handle some situation problem, it makes you stronger from inside.
अच्छा, तो लास्ट में मैं अभी कहना चाहूंगा कि देखिए, जैसे कि लचित भैया ने आप सभी को बताया है कि पीएचडी एक डिग्री नहीं है, उसको आप अपनी लाइफ की तरह एंजॉय कीजिए, अपने लाइफ का एक पार्ट समझिए, उसके डिग्री की तरह आपको केवल कंप्लीट नहीं करना है, एंजॉय करना है। और एक चीज, अगर आप पीएचडी में आए हो तो आप ये चीज सोच लो, दिमाग में बिठा लो कि जो रूल्स हैं, मे बी आप उनको लाइक ना करो, लेकिन आपको लर्न करना है, ठीक है। रूल्स आपको पसंद हो सकता है, नहीं हो सकता है कि आपको सड़क पे जा रहे हो, हेलमेट लगाना पसंद नहीं है, लेकिन वो रूल है, वो आपको करना पड़ेगा। तो पीएचडी में कुछ रूल्स हैं, वो आपको पसंद हो नहीं हो ये जरूरी नहीं है, लेकिन आपको वो याद होनी चाहिए। सो यू शुड नॉट लाइक द रूल्स, इट इज नॉट कंपल्सरी, बट यू शुड लर्न द रूल्स, ठीक है। ये पीएचडी में अगर आपको सक्सेस बनना है तो आपको सीखना ही पड़ेगा। तो इसके साथ ही हम लचित भैया का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं कि उन्होंने हमारे चैनल के लिए टाइम निकाला, आप लोगों के लिए टाइम निकाला। आपकी कोई भी क्वेरी है प्लीज कमेंट बॉक्स में लिखें, और अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छी लगी हो आप उसे शेयर करें अपने साथियों के साथ। आप पीएचडी कर रहे हैं तो भी शायद ये आपके लिए यूजफुल होगी, और आप कर चुके हैं या करने वाले हैं तो भी आपके लिए ये टॉपिक यूजफुल होगा, आई थिंक सो दैट। सो ठीक है, आज की वीडियो हम यहीं पे खत्म करते हैं, आगे आने वाले सेशंस में हम बाकी टॉपिक्स पे बात करेंगे।